Hello ladies and gentlemen, you're very welcome to the Clady Vintage Club 3rd annual Threshing Festival, and we're waiting on a very special delivery now, something that's key for the thrashing. It's the delivery of the sacks that's going to hold all the grain. So I'm going to call Tony O'Sullivan in here. He's the chairman of the festival. And Tony, tell us about the arrival of the sacks. Is it very important for the
well, it's very important because we want to gather up all the grain. All the cotton is very, very important, and we're sourcing sacks from 2 different places. Newman's of Atboy are sending a delivery. He's coming with the first round, 200 sacks, and going back for more. And then Michael Newman, a good friend and a member of the club, he has sourced sacks. I'm not sure where he said he was getting them, but we needed all the sacks we could get, so we had to go to 2 different places to get them. Yeah. And they're on the way, so they should be coming in any minute. Very good. With the delivery.
Very good. And when you say Newman's of Atboy, obviously, like we know the mill is closed a long time. Like who would you have contacted to get them now?
I don't know. I don't know, but obviously that the sacks were available. Here they are now. The mill with the sacks. So
here's Colin Griffin coming in his. What make is that van of Collins' Triumph?
No, that's a Morris.
That's a Morris. Oh, I see the Triumph behind.
And the Triumph is behind. He got sacks from someplace else.
Yeah, that's Michael Newman, of course, in the Triumph.
Yeah, we were really panicking there the past few days that we wouldn't have enough sacks. We had a very good crop. We knew it was a heavy yield, so we wanted a lot of sacks. So Michael Newman came to the rescue. He said he knew where there was some sacks and that he'd bring them along.
So tell me, Tony, a sack full of grain, roughly how many sacks would you expect to get out of a good acre of
well, about 20 stone, and say if there's 4 ton of weight, you know, the calculations are simple after that.
And there are lots to mean kilos and grams.
That's after my time.
You need a lot of bags.
It's after my time. See, the thing is, that's all metric.
Yeah.
And we were never meant to go metric. Yeah. Our Lord never meant us to go metric.
Maybe so.
Well, no, that's a known fact, because if he did, he would only have had 10 apostles.
That's boom. A comedian as well as everything else. Now we're going to go over here to Colin Griffin. He's going to get the sacks out of the back of his van here, his minor.
Coming out of Newman's Mill here.
Say again, Colin.
I'm just after coming out from Newman's Mill. I have a couple of bags for you.
You have a couple of hundred. Yeah. It's a small bundle, but you will. We know where you're coming from. So these are the sacks you're going to put all the grain in.
Yeah. Where's the man that's supposed to collect them, I wonder?
Huh?
Tony.
You're just the delivery man.
I'm only delivery man. In and out quick.
Tony's gone.
Tony is the man. Have you dockered or answered?
Tony! You have to graciously accept the sacks.
Yeah. We're delighted. Very good.
Yeah, good man.
Very good.
And you don't need a docket or anything, no?
We don't need a docket, but if you see the man at the Farranty, you'll get a bottle of stout.
Good man.
I understand you're going back and getting some more. We'll need them all.
No bother.
Now, Colin, we have a job to do. Now we're going over here. Michael Newman.
That's me, yeah.
You have sacks for us.
I have. I'm bringing them from Odlum's over at New Haggard.
Odlum's. That's the crowd who makes my porridge.
That's it, yeah. Makes mine as well. It is a better effect on you than it has on me.
Better than me now.
Yes, exactly, yeah. I have them here anyhow for you.
Good enough. Tell me a bit about your car, Michael.
Oh, she's 1967.
1967.
Yeah, Triumph Herald.
Very good.
Great machine.
That's nearly the same age as yourself.
Well, I have a few years on it still. You know that,
young fella. Huh?
Yeah. The sacks are nearly as old as well.
The sacks are nearly as old.
Yeah, that's right.
They are true original sacks, aren't they?
Oh, the Real McCoy. Yeah.
Real McCoy.
You couldn't get better.
Very good. Very good. So that's the delivery, the sacks.
Yeah.
We're ready to thrash now.
Right, well, I hope you get a good harvest out of it now.
I hope so too. We have the weather anyway.
Oh, no, you couldn't get better.
The lads on top of the mill won't be wet anyway. Huh?
Well, they might be down in their tummy. It could be wet.
There we have it. We'll get something to sort out that anyway.
Yeah.
Look, have a good day.
All right,
Michael,
Joe.
thanks very much.
No problem.
Good man.
I hope you fill them now.
Gosh, I hope so too.
Right.
I think we're going to go and get a few adverts.
Come on, Johnny.
We'll see you during the day, folks.
This is a Tapari Classic cattle crush with deluxe side gates fitted with an optional offside drafting handle. This cattle crush is made in New Zealand from New Zealand steel and is fully hot dip galvanised after fabrication. It comes with a 10-year galvanising warranty and will handle cattle of any size with ease. The Classic Crush is an all-round cattle handler designed to provide safe and efficient working facilities for you and your cattle.
Now I'm joined here by Peter Doyle. He's from Kinnegad, and Peter's got some very interesting tools along the wall here that date a little bit before my time. Peter, would you mind going through the tools and telling us what they're before, and just give people at home an idea of what we're looking at?
That's called an eel spear.
An eel spear?
Yeah, when you be sticking eels down between rocks and things like that, and the eel gets up here and the barbs just let them slip back down again.
Just like a shark's teeth?
Yeah, that's it. Perfect.
Very good. Yeah. So like that's not really a farm, that's a fisherman's tool.
That's a fisherman's tool.
Very good.
Yeah.
Never saw the like of that before.
That's just a gaff, a forge-made gaff. So when you catch your salmon and you, after reeling them in, and you just stick that into the skin and you take them out of the water. That's it. Now that was originally a blade of a scythe, but you see, tobacco was grown commercially back in this country once.
It was allowed. You didn't have that. Yes. Did you have that license at time?
I don't know that, but I know it was grown commercially anyway, and that was just used for cutting the tobacco.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Very good. And did you ever use any of these tools?
No. The only one I ever used was a slane. That was originally my father's.
For cutting turf?
Yeah, for cutting turf, yeah. That's a little Victorian scuffler from Scotland. In the old manor houses, the old lady at the manor would have one. And just this little hook, you could cut a weed with that. And this part of it here.
We're here at the thrashing, and it's now half time. We've thirsty workers here, so I think all of us going to bring in the bucket of the bottles of porter. So there we are over there, and of course there's Club Orange for.
Welcome to the thrashing.
You have the Club Orange for those who aren't inclined to drink as well, Oliver, very important.
There's a bad trade on the Club Orange nowadays. Anyone for a Club Orange.
Anyone for a Club Orange there. The last few chalk ices is right.
We have a man from Shercock as well. He's first mal, he's. Thank you. She drink a bottle as well.
Plenty of thirsty men. So it's half time in the thrashing, and I think we're going to get a song from Sonny Stanley. Are we, Sonny?
Well, I'll try one. I'm not promising anything. Huh?
You want to wet the throat?
A good idea.
Keep that up nice and close here, Sonny.
Another bottle of orange.
Sean, you tell me.
Oh, walk away, Sonny.
Can I start now?
Walk away, Sonny. You're live international.
Live, okay. Hello, world. Right, we'll try it out song. See how thrashing mill. As I walked down the road on this fine autumn morn, I could see the great combine collecting the corn. Well, my mind wandered back in a moment of joy to the days of the thrasher when I was a boy. All over the valley you'd hear that great sound of that mighty machine on its annual round, while the men in the townland would follow at will, and they'd all lend a hand with the old thrashing mill. Then boil up the bacon and the cabbage that's green. Have plenty of spuds laced with butter between. For 8 empty bellies will soon need a fill, for it makes a man hungry, the old thrashing mill. There was 2 on the thrasher and 2 on the stack, and the men with the forks kept the straw flying back. There was bottles of porter and plenty of fags, and old Larry Andy looked after the bags. Then a few of the boys made the straw in a reek, while the young ones had fun playing hide and go seek. While myself and me brothers with the dogs and the cats had the times of our lives chasing after the rats. Then boil up the bacon and the cabbage that's green. Have plenty of spuds roast with butter between. For 8 empty bellies will soon need a fill, for it makes a man hungry, the old thrashing mill. Now the times keep on changing and nothing stands still. Larry Andy is gone like his old thrashing mill, and most of the workers I knew as a child have reaped the great harvest for which they have toiled. No more in the valley you'll hear that machine, for just like the corncrake it's gone from the scene. But it makes me feel sad when I think of it still, for I love the dear sound of the old thrashing mill.
Well done, Sonny. Fair play to you, Sonny. Did you walk them back in the day yourself?
I remember as a child they came into the yard, into the haggard they call it, and there'd be a big stack. And all the neighbours, they're all gone. John Kelly, Paddy Kelly, all the Larry Murray, all the people from around the area. And
all the neighbours would help, of course.
Everyone had to do it. But in turn, then you had to give a hand. Whoever else was, it was a kind of an unspoken.
It was a community thing.
A community thing, because there was no much machinery that time. Everything was done by hand. It was great. A lovely sense of community that time. But unfortunately, it's passed on. But even today, now you'll see it again. It's great.
And the song paints a very romantic picture now. Indeed, it seems like great times. Was it really that now? Well, there was hardship in it too, I'd say.
There was 10 or 12 when the last time I saw it now.
Yeah.
And as a child, it looked very romantic. But I wouldn't say it was all fun and happiness.
I don't think so. Yeah.
My poor mother had to work hard. She'd be making apple tarts for a few days before, and everyone had to be fed. Yeah. And like the song, there'd be spuds and bacon and all the whole lot, cabbage, everything. Very simple, fair work.
And you said the last time that the mill was around, you were 12. Would you have been one of them kids playing hide and go seek, or would you?
No, I had a nasty job of throwing away a thing at the back. You'll see it there. It's called chaff.
All right. Yeah.
And there was sticky old hairs came off barley, and it'd get down to your back and into your shirt and everything, and it was no joy, I can tell you.
That was your job.
That was our job, just to keep it pushed away, you know. But
it's good to have lived through it. You've seen both sides.
I certainly have.
I'm a little bit younger than you, and I've never seen that. And it's just what I see here.
It's romantic now, which it really would. It'd make you sad to think of them times. 60 years ago,
Life was simpler.
Life was far better then, I think. Anyway,
well done, great song.
Thanks very much.
Give a round of applause there for Sonny, folks. They're clapping. You mightn't hear it on the microphones. So the camera's going to pan around now. I think the lads, when they finish their porter, they're going to get back at it, and we'll get a good shot later on. The straw, of course, has to be baled. We'll be pulling in the balers later on, and the second trailer load of wheat will be pulled in as well. So there's Oliver with more porter. Are you running out, Oliver?
We can get more.
You can get more?
Oh, Jesus, 14 will never go.
Jump on the bike and go to the local pub.
Even if we have to go to James's Gate, we get it.
That's for sure. It won't be like run out on you.
Oh, Jesus, nothing done there yet.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure.
They're well able to drink it down here.
Yeah, I've heard.
Oh, Lord. Could spend all day at it.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it. That's it. Thanks, Oliver.
the man is feeding the mill there, have a word with him.
Yeah. What's the man?
Tom Farrell.
We're joined here by Tom Farrell, and Tom is the man that's actually feeding the mill. He's up on top of the thrashing mill, and he's putting the produce in. Tom, where are you from yourself?
I'm from County Monaghan, Carrickmacross, County Monaghan, but I'm living at Yells now.
Oh, good man. And tell me, how many years ago did you do this first?
I was out with a mill when I was 18 years of age.
18 years ago. Do you mind me asking, when was that?
About 20 years ago.
20 years ago? So you were on the mill?
I was the main man, and a lad helping me. Yeah, the man I worked with had 2 mills.
Yeah.
And in 1963, there was a rush on, and we put out the second one.
Very good.
Yeah.
And tell me now, when you're up on top there, is there any problems you can encounter? Can you put too much in at one time and choke it up?
It's a very responsible job up there.
Well, you look like a responsible kind of a man now.
No, there's a drum up there, and
you'd lose your fingers.
Oh, you'd lose your arms.
I must get up and have a look at
it. Yeah. It's going at 1,100 revs a minute. Yeah. It'll take the man and all in. Yeah.
And like, if you did shove in too much, like, would it be a problem or?
No, you could throw off the belt.
Oh, I know what you mean.
That's the worst you could do, and then everyone would be laughing at you.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Embarrassment.
You'd say that's a right. That's a right. You get us up there.
There's a red mark against you.
Yeah. You get a red card.
Did it ever happen yet?
No, it never happened to me. No.
Too good to do that.
Oh well, no. Yeah.
And like when you say you were on the trash mill, you were actually working with the contractor, or were you?
I was working for the man that owned the mill.
Yes, so you were at all summer.
Yeah.
Harvest
a few weeks coming on to the Christmas.
All harvest time.
Yeah, harvest time. Yeah. I've mills of my own. I'm involved in minority.
The vintage club down there.
Yeah. I have 3 mills of my own.
And working order.
Every year since 1980.
God, yeah. Some of them you'd actually work with the steam engine as opposed to a tractor.
Well, I always like the tractor. I have an off-wheel tractor. I don't like the steam engine because
wouldn't be as regular.
It's not as steady as the tractor.
Steady, yeah.
No, Harry Roundtree was a great man. He's dead now.
Yeah.
He thrashed with steam engines. From Kingscourt.
Kingscourt, right, okay.
And he thrashed with steam engines now, and he knew.
There'd be a different way of operating.
Oh, yeah.
Be used to them, I suppose.
Some of them would be too fast.
Right, okay.
No, I don't know.
No way of regulating them, would there not? No.
Some of them has no governors or no belt on the governors or something. They could shake your mill or something though.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but Harry was good.
A wooden structure,
Yeah. And then the small mill is too small for a steam engine. You want a big heavy mill.
Yeah, and now you that's in it. Like a good mill like that now, like for a lad who's interested in the vintage stuff, and how much would it cost nowadays to buy one of them in working order?
That mill is worth about £3,000.
Right, okay.
Yeah. You could buy them at £1,000, but you could have a lot of money to spend on them.
Yeah.
You know, so a mill in good order like that now, and all belts and everything. I knew the man that owned that mill, Lord have mercy on him.
Yeah.
There's 5 coats of paint on that mill.
Right.
Yeah.
And where did that come from? What area has that been serving?
It was outside the Kells. Men, the name of Ryan's owned it.
From you?
I'd say from you.
Yeah.
And they sold it to Jimmy Murray down at Cross. Right. Was the last man.
That's Cavan, is it?
Cavan, yeah. And he owned it, and then it lay up for years and years and years. And John Fitzsimons bought it, who's deceased now.
Right.
And he done it all up. He put a whole new top on it and put them axles in it, and he done an awful lot of work on it.
Yeah.
It was an old shed and no sides in it now. And
so she was well bet.
Oh, she was well betting. Yeah. So it's a great job now. And then John died, the poor fella, when he had it done.
Right, okay. Didn't really get to enjoy it.
He didn't get to enjoy it much, a couple of years.
Right, okay.
And the old Castle Vintage Club, Paddy Murphy, then he bought it then. Yeah, and he owns it.
Runs it every year then?
He runs it every year since now. I was on it last Sunday as well.
Very good.
Yeah, it's the life of Cavan last Sunday.
It's the life of the machine using them.
Covering
in the shed and there's no addition to them.
Oh, they do look after it all well now. They cover it now. And
it's great. It's great to see them out, because it's only by getting them out that people actually
realise.
From my people of my age that can realise it and respect it.
That's right.
Things weren't as easy as they are nowadays.
No.
Look, it was lovely talking to you. I'll make it up on it later on and have a keep my arms well away.
Oh yeah, you'll see. You'll see what's going on.
100%. Look, thanks very much.
Thank you.
All the best now.
tell us about when you started farming, like what age you were, and basically what kind of farming you were doing and back in the day.
Basically, I started farming at really 21. My father died when I was 21, so I had to take over the farm then.
Yeah.
And that was about 1958.
Right, okay.
And it was just the start of the tractors.
The tractors, right.
Yeah.
And what type of farming were you in, Jimmy? Was it tillage or was it livestock of some description?
We started off at livestock and sheep,
Yeah.
but then we got into dairying.
Okay. And what kind of equipment had you in the milking farm? Were those tie-up wires or whatever, was it? Or?
No, it was always a herringbone.
Oh yeah, you were, so that would have been a very early herringbone.
Would have been one of the first herringbone, a 4-unit.
Right, okay.
And then we went to 6.
That would have been 4 unit each side and swing over.
Yeah. 4-unit herringbone, you know. Then we went to 6, and then we went to 10.
And the 4 unit, that was in 1958, was it?
No, it was in the 60s.
The 60s. Yeah, that would have been very modern back then.
Yeah. And it was, I think it was in Alfa-Laval.
Alfa-Laval, yeah. And then you went to 6 and then 10.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. And then got wiped out with, first of all with brucellosis.
Wiped out. And then got back in.
Then got back in and were wiped out with the BSE.
Tough going, that.
Yeah.
To see your hard work all disappearing.
Yeah, the BSE was the worst because it took all the young stock and everything away.
With BSE it was one strike and you were gone.
Yeah, you were.
And with the brucellosis now, like you just lost a few animals and a few more and then they took them all, was it?
Yeah, depopulated.
Depopulated, yeah. That's tough going on. What year was it with the brucellosis?
It would be in the 70s.
In the 70s. I think there was a big problem in the country at that stage.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was very. And then one of the last that need to be wiped out was BSE.
Yeah, that was probably the late 90s, was it, or mid to late 90s?
It would be in the it would be in the late 90s.
Yeah, that's when there was a lot of it going around. Yeah,
but it just that was the end of it. I think there were only 1 or 2 cases of need after.
Right, okay.
After we were wiped out.
Yeah. And you had no inclination to get back in after that, no?
No, we didn't get back in after that. We went into dry stock.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem, I would have went back in, only we have a very scattered farm.
I know what you mean, yeah.
We have 5 different plots of land.
Okay, and it doesn't work with grazing cows.
You couldn't put them on the road.
Yeah.
You know. But,
and of course around you getting very busy there, like it was.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're bordering on the town and the roads are very busy.
Yeah.
But of course it was now you'd have these forage wagons and
the zero grazers and that.
That's very big now.
Yeah.
You know.
Talking about machinery, Jimmy, tell us a little bit about this lovely Ford 5000 over there behind us.
Yeah.
What year is it and how long have you got it?
That's 1975 and I have it since about the year. I think I bought it in 78.
Right, okay. Yeah. Sorry, did you turn and you bought it, so it's nearly new when you got it.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Practically new.
And then what would be the usual jobs now that you would have had that going?
That would have ploughed a lot of land with a 3-sod ransom plough.
Plowing?
Yeah. That could have ploughed 80 or 100 acres a year with a 3-sod ransom.
So she would have been working hard.
Oh, hard, very hard.
How many hours is on it, Jimmy?
I don't know, but we done the end.
Stopped and got around. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. And would you have any other old vintage machinery at home, or is that the bones of it?
We would have a bit of vintage, but I'd be more into restoration of old buildings, stone buildings.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've done a bit of that at home, have you?
Oh yeah, a lot of that.
Good man.
Lot of that.
Lot of
That'll be around. They'll be around for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Longer than any machinery, I'd say.
Well, so and they're very old.
Yeah.
Very old. But we restore them.
Very good. Very good. That's your interest.
Take a bit of pride in stone and dry stone wall.
Lovely, it looks hard well when it's done.
It does.
Yeah, when it's done right, it looks fast.
But it's slow and hard work.
Yeah, but I think that's the only way to do it right.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to do it right by rushing it up.
No.
Look, Jimmy, lovely talking to you, and thanks for sharing your background with us and your times in farming. Thanks very much, Jimmy.
Okay.
All the best. Right, we're going to go to a couple more ads now. Thanks very much. I'm joined here by Paddy Duffy from Robinstown, and Paddy is going to recite a poem for us. Right, Paddy, whenever you're ready.
Paddy wrote this.
Paddy actually wrote this himself.
He wrote this, the local tavern. Will you name the tavern? Paddy Duffy. Will you name the tavern? Name the tavern.
Well, the local tavern.
There's absolutely no panic at all, Paddy. Whenever you're ready.
The other day, being Monday, I thought I'd have a jar. And passing through the village, no sign of any cars. I thought that I'd go in for one just to quench the thirst and pay a visit to the Louvre before my bladder burst. I thought the place was empty, but I got a big surprise. As soon as the door I opened, I heard a lot of noise. I edged my way up to the bar and asked Fikra for a pint. He said, in just a minute, when down I do an ain't. He's been here all day, he said to me, a many pints he drank, and he won't go home till darkness falls, until he meets the tank. The tank, he swears, was his downfall, and believe me if you will, he met his downfall long before the tank he tried to fill. They were spreading slurry down at the fire with wacko in top gear and Barney rapping Salisbury's with the Lord Mayor far and near. So, Dowd was ploughing stubble ground and ploughing very bad. He blamed the plough, he blamed the pints, and McKenna, he was mad. He said that his machinery was the best that could be bought. He jumped up and he ran for Dowd, and he caught him by the throat. Lightholder and Mickey Smith were carving cows galore when Tommy Loughlin in a rush burst in through the door. A cow had started calving and was Sean and Mick in charge. Tommy said, "You'll have to hurry now, as the calf is very large." McIntyre was in the lounge playing the card machine. Money was no problem now for headstones, he'd it clean. With Remy and his gang from here to County Loud. And when they weren't busy, Larry Clark he plowed. Nolly Murta was in bad form with a shed or two to build, but he couldn't get a digger, no matter where he tried. Some holes he needed digging if he was to survive. But the lane his yellow jersey V was stuck in overdrive. Jim Newman stood against the bar with his hand up to his head. I could guess what he was doing, 'cause his face was very red. I was glad that I was standing that extra bit away for the aroma that would follow.
could cause us right away. Two was sitting quietly with the paper opened out, trying to pick out winners from mead or pipe or stout. Then in walks Johnny Casey with a tip that he had got, but Hughie wouldn't listen, for the jockey he liked not. John Hyland and McGillick for the next two to appear. John had been tweeting leaves and was in his working gear for the tidy village competition with Camelgerty in command. This year they'd have to win it, or we all could go be damned. I thought it was time for leaving and heading for the door. Hatchet was fixing Roundtree van in the middle of the floor. When I reached the door at last, to all the island grime, Leo, he was standing there. It was long gone past closing time.
Well done, Paddy. Well done. Thanks very much for reading that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was Paddy Duffy from Robinstown. So we're going to go to a few ads now. Thanks very much. Welcome back to Dundee Harvest Festival here. I'm joined now by Terence Taylor from Balbriggan. He's a man with many years of farming experience, and he's hugely into the vintage equipment and that. And Terence, you're very welcome. Tell us a little bit about what kind of equipment you have.
Thank you. What I have, oldest and old Fordson, standard Fordson, 1941, high top gears, and nice enough old.
Yeah. And how long would you have that?
Must be 15 or 20 years now.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Then I have the Frog Dog with ears on. It's a big single-cylinder hot bulb, a French job, more or less a copy of a Lance Bulldog.
Yeah.
So she's 9.5 inch bore.
Right.
Yeah.
Would that leave it extra noisy, or the fact that it's a single cylinder? Would there be much of a vibration in it?
A lot of shaking anyway.
I well imagine.
And a big 4-inch exhaust at the back.
Right. Okay.
And she smokes a fair bit.
And what kind of power now would be in that? Would you do much with it? Would it?
44 horse.
Oh, right. Okay.
At 560 revs.
Right. Yeah.
And you have a job getting a modern car as low as that.
Yeah.
But as a 5-speed box, you do about 20 miles an hour.
Yeah. Sorry, we're just going to turn off the music there for a second. There's very eager dancers there behind us.
Why not?
They're mad for action. They've been locked up for a long time with this COVID.
Yeah.
And tell us what else you have there at home.
Duffield TVO. She's 1952. That's a modern tractor to me.
Yeah.
A self-starter and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
No lights or anything on it, but she's a fast thing on the road.
Yeah.
And handles nicely, good brakes and everything.
Right. And tell me, back in the day now, when you were in full flight farming, what type of farming would you have done, and what equipment were you using?
Then Balbriggan, with a dairy farm there, with a Major and Ford van.
Yeah.
But now, during the war, did a bit of tillage, and Harry Osborne used to come over from Julianstown or send over one of his outfits.
Yeah.
Now, he was an amazing man. He had a big farm, and he had a decent workshop and a couple of good guys working for him before the war.
Yeah.
And
we're talking in the 40s here, obviously.
Oh, 1938, 39.
Right, okay, early in the war, like, yeah.
Oh, even before the war, like,
okay,
you know.
right, yeah.
And when he saw the way the compulsory tillage was going, he must have had a bit of money, you know.
Yeah.
And he went around the country and he bought 12 thrashing outfits, steam outfits.
No way.
You had them, the engine and the mill and the baler and the saw walker and the house and probably a water tank as well.
Right, okay.
Oh, that was some outfit to handle on the road.
Yeah. So 12 separate outfits.
Well, he had 2 already, so that was 14.
All right, and he was travelling the country like.
Yep. One man told me that one of his mills ended up down in North Cork in February.
Right, okay. February.
And you can imagine driving that thing home on iron wheels.
I was just talking to Paddy Murphy, who owns the mill out there, and he was telling me, it's 4 or 5 mile an hour and a very shaky ride even at that.
Yeah. And I mean, no mill, to be no springs on that either, or on the traction engine. Some of the fancy ones have springs, but ordinary.
How long would it take to get to Cork on the like of one of them? Like,
well, 5 miles an hour.
You're talking a couple of days.
Well, you do 50 miles a day, I suppose, you know. But then it was a great responsibility for the driver.
Sorry, Stephen,
who would he'd have to buy the fuel and everything.
Yeah.
And there's no coal.
Yeah.
No, those days, County Dublin, there'd be no turf either.
Okay.
And the farmers had to supply the firewood.
Okay.
But
and when you were younger, you worked on the mill yourself.
No,
you didn't.
I was only a kid at the time.
Yeah.
But I couldn't understand. We looking in the firebox store, and all you see was flames.
Yeah.
And in the house, the firewood would always be a bit on the damp side, you know. We only recently cut it, and I get flame maybe 2 or 3 inches high. That was good, you know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until years later I discovered why. That the exhaust steam of the engine goes up the chimney. It puts a hell of a draw on it.
Yeah.
You know, and
very good. And tell me, Terence, you said you were a dairy farmer.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the equipment that you used, like in your early days of dairy.
Well,
today is a thrashing event, but like we want to hear about more than just thrashing. Like it's vintage, you know. Like tell us about the dairy end of our back in the day.
The early days now were milking by hand.
Milking by hand, yeah.
And then
your transition came into what kind of equipment did you use then?
Well, later on, like about 1947, I think it was, we got a milking outfit. Was the cans and the vacuum pipes running along above the stalls of the cow shed.
Tie up wire, like.
Yes, we'll tie up wire, and we built it about 40, and you had to carry the.
That was a very large herd.
It was big in those days, to carry them across the yard and up the steps and into the cooler.
There was a lot of carrying.
And then we were selling TT milk, which is going to hospitals and schools and stuff.
Right.
So that all had to be bottled.
Yeah.
And everything had to be sterilised. It was very labour intensive.
I'd well imagine.
But
that was your business back in the day?
Yeah, well, my father's business. I wasn't just working there later the last year or two. But
how long were you milking cows until?
58, 59, I think, packed up in 58.
Yeah.
Look, it was a big house, big old castle, Ardgillan Castle.
And you were based in Ardgillan?
Yeah.
That's where the concerts are held now?
Yeah, and I mean, you'd want 1,000 acres to keep a place like that going.
Yeah.
You know, so that kind of packed up.
Yeah. Look, it was fascinating talking to you, Terence. And thanks so much for sharing your bit and your love for the vintage things with us. So we're going to head back now to a commercial break.
Yeah.
But there's a bit of music actually that will allow the Irish dancers to get back to it. Thanks very much. See you later, folks. We might have to put so here we are with Tommy Dowd, Stephen O'Rourke and Barry Callahan in Francie Smith's famous Mini, the Mini that featured in the Chronicle this week. And the boys have the Sam Maguire.
The nail drops the shoe.
Our captain from 1996, Tommy Dowd. Give the boys a round of applause. Is the handbrake on, Francie? It's safe for the boys to get out.
No handbrake.
There's no handbrake.
Side door of the boot.
I think she's under pressure, Francie.
This is what's called man-sized sardine tin. Four big men in a Mini and a Sam Maguire.
Where would you get it?
Do you want a hand getting out, Tommy? Hey!
Beautiful me, you're all that I need. Your ringers that flow delight. Everybody, come on. Your feet are so clean. There's things to be seen.
Barry Callahan has been extracted. And then Stephen O'Rourke as well. Thanks very much, Francis.
You would think it was all just a dream, and wherever you roam, there's no place like home than the beautiful county of Meath. Oh yeah, big cheer, folks. Up the boys. Up the Ryan.
Tommy, Barry, Stephen, I'm going to get you over here onto my sofa while the hay bales give us a bit of a question. Sit down there beside me, Tommy. Tommy's showing the love. Throw yourself down there, Barry. Where's Stephen? Oh, he's there.
Jesse, he came from fourth.
So, we're missing one, are we? Where's Barry? Ah, he's behind us. There we are. Lads, welcome to Dundee, the ancestral home. Tommy, what's your greatest memory of the day? The great day of winning the final.
Oh shit, the greatest memory was the next day, I think, when we landed back here in front of so many thousand people and we had a great night, and it was great to bring it back to your own parish along with the two lads here after all the hard effort we put in for the whole year. So it's a great honour.
It's what dreams are made of, isn't it?
It's what dreams are made of. It's what every young lad wants to play on Crow Park and win in All Ireland, and we were three lucky people that got to do that, you know.
I don't think a dream would go as far as maybe playing in Crow Park, but to actually bring the cup home to your local village as captain, that's...
Well, it's not something you can only imagine or dream it up, but for it to fulfil that, it's something really special. And I see the same familiar faces here. Bosco beyond, and he's still drinking as many pints today as he drank back in '96. No better man, but
no better man.
Better man, but it's great to get back and bring a bit of honour back to Dundee and a bit of glory.
I have to say, three local heroes, there's no doubt. Stephen, tell us a bit about when you were growing up, back in the day, when you were as young as I am now. Who would have been your idols in the football scene? Let's say a young lad, 9 or 10, kicking a ball in pitch. Who were you looking up to back in the day?
Probably, I was lucky enough that when I was 9 or 10, me running on late was 87, so I'd be looking at usual Colin O'Rourke, Bernard Flynn, Liam Harnan, Mick Lyons, them kind of guys. And again, I suppose the last 20 years of Meath, we sort of haven't had that at the moment, and it's hard to look at for the generation coming out. The same guys to look after. So we were lucky in them times, and we are out kicking football and playing football. And when you see the success the last few years of the minors and the ladies, you'd be hoping the same thing is going to come true again, do you know?
Well, all my little ones can talk about is Vicky Wall and Emma Duggan. And Barry, what did you make of the ladies' success?
That was great, I suppose it's great to see the ladies getting a bit of exposure. It's been a long time probably coming. I suppose I think they caught the imagination, the public in Meath, with their style of play and how hard they worked, you know, and the skill level. It wasn't just winning All Ireland, it's actually how they did it. And I think ladies football has massively improved, and it's a great spectacle now, in fairness. Great lift for the county.
Yeah, and then with the minor success earlier, the future maybe looks bright for us.
The future, I think a lot of people, we've been kind of starved since this, we had 96 and 99, and there has been a huge amount of success for the county since, and at any grade. So it's great to see the minors this year. Brilliant, the new generation. And Stephen said they now have to plough their own furrow. They don't have maybe the heroes to look up to that we had in our day. So no, it's brilliant for the county and all the clubs in the county.
Absolutely. And Tommy, how has football changed? Like, you're looking at the like of the Dublins nowadays and the Mayos featuring in the latter stages of the championship. How has it changed from like what you remember back in the day?
Well, I suppose the biggest change is yellow and black and red cards.
Yeah.
I suppose in our day you wouldn't last too long if you had getting black and yellow and red cards with the hard, tough men maybe that Meath had down the years. But I think the ladies' game is like the way football was played maybe 25 or 30 years ago. Right. They just play up and down the field, and there's none of this short hand pass and over and back across the field, and they just get up and get on with it. But I don't know, maybe it could be a bit old-fashioned, but I think today it's a bit hard on the eye, and I think they should be able or allowed to express themselves a bit more, because there's brilliant talent out there. Yeah. But a lot of them is too busy playing in the defence rather than going on the attack all the time. But maybe that Tyrone, in fairness to them this year, played a long ball game, and it's far easier on the eye to watch, and we'd hope to see more of that coming back again, you know.
And lads, do you think maybe like, when do you realistically think you will be seeing Meath back? Like, are we looking at this minor team when they mature a bit? Are we looking at maybe rattling the bush a bit?
I hope so. I think Dublin have slipped a bit, obviously, so that's levelling the playing field. We're very close to being a Division 1 team, so that puts you in the top 8. There's a couple of minor teams. After winning 4 of the last 5 minor Leinsters, not that it's any guarantee, but it shows the talent is there. I'd hope in the next 2 to 3 years Meath are challenging for All Ireland seniors. I think it can happen soon enough. I think the profile now of an inter-county footballer is probably 20 to 26, 7, 28. It's hard. You even see Dublin players with the success they were having, the likes of Jack McCaffrey and Paul Mannion stepped away. So it's a younger man's game. So these guys in the next 2 to 3 years, I think they're going to be ready to step into the breach.
It'd be great to see it.
I think we're not far away. I think we're turning the corner. There's been a lot of work going on for the last 20 years behind the scenes now, in fairness, and I think starting to bear some of the fruits of it now.
Yeah, because it would be great to get back to the glory days when, like I said, the homecoming here. Stephen, what do you remember about the night you came back to Dunderry?
Very little, to tell you the truth. I often think back, I was only 19 or 20 at the time. You'd like to sort of freeze moment in time and go back and take in a bit more when you're young like that. It all goes by in a breeze. And definitely, I remember coming in. The biggest thing that stands out to me was we went all around, came back through Trim and all that, but the bonfires and the whole build up back into Dunderry, and then when we got off at the hall and we got onto the yoke, it was just all you could see was faces everywhere. It was unbelievable. The roar was unbelievable. Something you'd never forget,
And I suppose the fact that you were so young, do you look back now and think that maybe you didn't appreciate it?
Without doubt. As an older self, even though a lot of people might say I have more sense back then than I do now, but I'd like to look back to myself and say...
we'll leave other people judge that.
Yeah, but you'd like to sort of say that you'd appreciate it a bit more. Again, we were young, and you probably thought this was going to happen the whole time again, and we were lucky to live through that. Meath only won an All Ireland 3 years later, and I haven't been there again.
That's it. It's a distant memory. There's one last question, lads. One for each. Is toughest opponent at inter-county level?
Well, I'll probably be often asked that. I suppose Keith Barr would have to be one of the toughest that I played against, but if he got an opportunity at all, he'd absolutely nail you. But that was all part and parcel of the game. And
he'd be another black card man.
He would definitely be a Mount Joy jail man, I'd say now at that stage. But But once it was over with Dublin, that was it. They were brilliant. They were brilliant. But you hated losing to them and they hated losing to Meath, but once the game was over we always went and had a few drinks together, and it was a great bit of crack, and we just moved on, or they moved on, but you know, that's what they were, great sportsmen. And still are today. You never hear them whining.
They didn't get a lot out of Meath back in them days.
They didn't, no, but they've certainly got their own bag since, but we'll come again, there's no doubt about it. We'll be back in the next couple of years again.
That's the job. Stephen, same question. The county home.
I played Gary a couple of times, played anti-troll midfield. I always thought he was a big man, very athletic. He was always hard to get the better of, so he was.
Not the lad you want to come up every week.
No, definitely not.
Same question to you, Barry.
Probably Glenn Ryan from Kildare. He's a really good footballer. I came up against him a couple of times. Yeah, he's a really good centre half back. Strong, fast. He could read the game. He had a lot going from him.
Very good.
And just on that, I'd like to thank everyone in Dundee. To come back 25 years ago, Stephen and Tommy said coming in that's one of our strong memories. That time coming in on the bus, so Stephen said the fire's lit. I'll never forget it till the day I die. You couldn't see a blade of concrete or tarmac in Dundee with the faces, and even then today to invite us over today, I think I want to thank everyone. Fair play. It's a great parish to be involved in.
Lads, you have absolutely earned the respect you got. Ladies and gentlemen, give our legends a big round of applause there. Thanks a million, lads. Thanks, Tommy. Thanks, Stephen.
It's more than going to fill this.
Lads, hold up the cup there and we get a big cheer out of you. Hip hip!
No, you win.
I'm going to get Eugene in to make a bit of a presentation. I think Eugene Smith is going to make a presentation. Is it Eugene? You're going to make it, yeah? Yeah, presentation to each of the lads here. Put the cup down there, lads. Not you want to put it down.
I appreciate it. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Stephen?
Thanks very
Save
much.
yourself.
Thanks very much.
Stephen, fair play to you.
Thanks. Nice.
Last but not least, Townshend.
Oh man. And thanks to the Mayor, the Lord Mayor, for all the work he done in the parish over the years as well. He can't be forgotten either.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Lads, thanks very much. Thanks very much, lads.
Thanks, lads.
We're going to go to an ad break again, I think. I'm joined here, delighted to be joined here by Sean Quinn. Sean is the curator in the museum over in Minolty, the Steam Thrashing Museum. Sean, you're very welcome to Dundee.
Well, thanks very much. I always like coming to this Dundee show. It's a very nice little show, and they're a great committee here.
They put on a good show.
They put on a good show here all the time, and they always seem to get good weather as well as that, you know. And I suppose you'd have to say they really bring us back to the past and they revive our heritage, you know, with all the different things they do, the thrashing and the corn crushing here and the whole lot. So,
which is very important. Like we don't want these kind of things to die. If nobody done what yous do,
that's right.
Then the generations to come, including myself, like if nobody done it, I wouldn't know what went on there.
That's right. Well, somebody said someplace along the line that if you lose your heritage, you lose your way. You know. So I think anyway, and seemingly a lot of other people think it as well. It's nice to revive all those traditions,
absolutely,
and hand it down to the younger generation, and at least they'll know how we lived, you know, in the past.
I couldn't agree more.
Also great. It's a great turnout here today. Like it's very nice and it's a very homely little show, and that's the way it is in Dundee. They're a very nice committee here, and they do well, and they raise a good lot of money here as well for charity.
They do great work,
which is very important.
Oh, absolutely,
you know.
Absolutely. You have to give a bit of back. What you earn.
That's right, more so now than ever, you know.
That's exactly right. So tell me, how is Minalty faring now? When will you be back in action next year again?
Well, sure we will. We hope to be back next year. We had to pull the plug on 2 shows now, 2 years, and we will, hopefully we will get back next year. We do run small events around the year just to keep the light lit and keep it ticking over. We have a museum there and we have a nice park, but none of this runs on fresh air. We still have to make a few pounds to keep it running, you know. So we would hope to get back next year again, you know.
And tell me, you're the curator in the museum, Sean. Now, not talking about COVID years, but up until that, how many people would you be expecting through the doors? Would you be having through the doors in the museum below?
Sure, on any normal thrashing day, like you'd be talking about, well, at least 20,000 people around coming and going. You would do,
That's unreal.
You would, and they come there from all corners of Ireland. We have them from every county. And for the past couple of years now, people come for the weekend and they stay in hotels and guest houses around. And
it's great for the local economy.
It's great for the local economy. All the hotels and guest houses, they all do a great business. And then a lot of people come with their camper vans, and we have accommodation for that as well. And we did put on a great show, and so
And tell me, Sean, how long are you involved in it? How long is the festival in Minalty running, and how long are you involved yourself?
Well, I'm involved. It started in 1976. It was the first steam thrash in Minalty.
45 years old.
It started that year to finish the payment of an extension to the Catholic Church in the village.
Right.
And there was
as a bit of an idea for a fundraiser.
Just for one day for a fundraiser, and it was a non-sectarian committee that was set up, and they called it the Steam Thrashing Committee, and they thrashed, and they made £1,000. They needed £1,000 to finish the building, and I think they made about 1,200, and it encouraged them, so they kept it going ever since.
From that small seed, we have a big oak. It's amazing, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is. So it went on from there.
And how many years are you involved in the committee?
I'm in it since the very first year, since 76.
Since the start.
And my late father was in it as well, and then he was involved in the museum end of it. And he died in 81, so then they asked me. So I had a bit of an interest in antiques and that, so I took over then, along with other fellas of course, and we set up the museum then. So we have a great show there, and
it's a fantastic show.
It is.
I know myself, every year it clashes with Tullamore show.
That's right.
And we tend to take every second year, and try and support both, but it's a fantastic show.
Yeah, well, the funny thing, people do be complaining around in Minalty and that, they say, why do you run on the same year as Tullamore? But that's our day. And I always say, only for Tullamore we wouldn't be able to handle the crowds.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. You get such crowds, why would you change?
Yes, that's right. So that's the
and tell me, you have some interesting stuff here in front of you. This is your stuff?
No, that's not mine. That belongs to Peter Doyle from Westmeath.
Very good. But you'd have examples like this
we have that same exhibition in our museum.
In the museum, very good.
We would have.
And would you, given the interest you have, would you have a personal collection of stuff?
I have indeed. my own sheds are packed in with stuff.
Such as? Tell us a little bit
I have bicycles and a few tractors and a couple of cars, old stuff. And I said the wife would be giving out to me, but anyway, what do you do? It's the way of living, you know. It's the way of living.
Look, Sean, lovely talking to you, and the very best of luck to you with the show next year. We're up and running, and I hope to get down to it again.
Thanks very much.
Look, all the best.
Glad to see you.
Okay, welcome back to Dundee. I'm joined here by Monica Healy. Monica is baking bread in the old way on a hot plate. And first of all, we're just going to look at the grains. This is wheat, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's the whole wheat before it's ground down. This is a coarse kind of a roll. This is rolled with the stones, Monica.
That's right. Yeah.
And you could still bake with that.
You could. Yeah.
It'd be crunchy though, wouldn't it?
It would. Yeah. It would be nice.
And what's this here? This is fully rolled.
Fully rolled. And I made this bread with it.
You made that bread with it?
Yeah.
Very good.
And this cake.
And so over there you have bread you made.
Yeah.
And is that ready to eat now?
Yes.
Is it? Have you butter for it as well?
There is, yeah.
Is it homemade butter?
Oh, no.
No cows this morning, huh?
No.
That's lovely. And how long would it take to bake on the hot plate?
About an hour and a half.
About an hour. And you have to turn it, of course, would you?
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. That's lovely. Yeah, you see, it's not all about equipment like at the old-fashioned thrashing day. Like, we kind of look at all the machinery and that, but we forget about the old way of doing cooking food and the preparation.
Yeah.
Would you have, like when you were younger, would you have helped out cooking bread like this?
My grandmother, yeah.
Your grandmother did, yeah. Very good. Very good. That's class. Monica, thanks a million.
You're welcome.
Because it's not, like, we can come and look at all the equipment, but we don't see this every day.
I know.
Yeah. We have to eat. Thanks, Monica. Right, thanks, folks. See you in a while.
Lord, help me today. Show me the way. One day at a time. Lovely song. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Now, if you can hear me, Arthur, you can switch over. Occasionally, you probably were doing it anytime. I don't really know. But I'd try and get all these bits and pieces when I can, and there's nobody around. It should be organising more interviews now. I might go to the media 3 now, Arthur, if you can hear me whenever he's quiet. You go to media 3.
Here, John, tell me, John, how many Michelin stars have you in your kitchen?
Oh, very little.
I tell you, fair play to you, you're busy all day.
We've nearly 200 burgers done.
200 burgers gone out already?
Yeah.
Very good.
Nearly the same as sausages.
The same sausages.
Yeah.
Very good. What time did you start at?
Oh, we started here at 12 o'clock.
Good man. And flat out all day. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
Well, great support here. The Claddy Vintage Club. They couldn't be without them.
There's a great community in Dundee anyway. Always has been.
Mighty.
And tell me, you'll be talking to a lot of people here. Are they having a good day?
Oh, brilliant day,
Enjoying
brilliant day.
themselves.
There's people now coming from far and wide there. And they're delighted with the atmosphere here.
It's brilliant. No, I have to say, fair play to you. You could easily, we could easily pass by you and not thank you at all. But your efforts aren't going unnoticed. So I have a full belly after you anyway, John.
Right.
Look, thanks very much.
Bye.
Take care of yourself. We're going to go down here and talk to James Brady now. James, I'm going to annoy you for a second.
No, you're not. No.
James is one of the hard workers here, serving tea all morning. James, you're busy out. You're busy out.
Oh, very busy, yeah.
How many cups of tea do you reckon you've thrown out?
Over 200.
Over 200. Not so bad. And people are having a good time enjoying themselves.
Great time.
Good man. And are you enjoying yourself?
Brilliant.
Well, no problem. Well, look, we came in here and we says we're going to thank you because you could easily go by and not recognise your effort, but your effort is very well appreciated. Thank you very much.
Good man.
Fair play, James. Good man. Okay, you're welcome back to Dundee here at the Harvest Festival, and I'm joined by Paddy Murphy from Oldcastle, and Paddy actually owns the mill behind us. So, Paddy, you're very welcome. Tell me a little bit about your machine there. How long have you had it?
Well, I have this machine built in 1947. It's got from Wexford, and from Muller. They went down on a small boat, probably took me a few days. Towed it back to Muller, From there we went to Holland from Westmeath, and from Westmeath to Virginia and from the car.
And you've the full history of it? Very good. And tell me, like, you have this for 5 years now, and does it take much to keep it running, every year? Like, this was obviously some service.
Well, initially, before you take it out for the first time, it's only about 10, 12 hours. You check it out, it's running.
I'm sure we'll get some footage of it running in a few minutes, because the lads just been starting in a few minutes. Like, it is running very smooth.
It's running very well.
And when you got first 5 years ago, like, what kind of order was in it? Did you have too much work with it?
Two boxes. Trying to keep them in the file.
And I was talking to you there earlier off camera, just about moving it on the roads and that. Sometimes you would tow it yourself from to some of the festivals.
Well, it's been on the rubber. If you roll it down, so you have to take it every maybe 7, 8 minutes. On the tarmac.
And you're saying that it's on rubber. What would the original wheels have been?
The original wheels were metal. Very slow.
Hard on the machine. Maybe no suspension or no shock absorption. So let's say when you pull this into sight, it's not just a case of dropping it and firing it up and that. Everything has to be assembled and that. Does it take much? I'm just walking around it there and I actually saw that there's actually little spirit levels on it. Very level. So it's a level front to back and level side to side. The whole
After a week or so.
Right, okay. Bits and pieces you never think of. So a couple of hours setting up, and once you do get going, like if you had a good flow of what you call the sheets coming at you, how many kilos or stones would you put out in an hour, let's say? Would you? Nice, okay. Decent enough. And like 36-inch drum, how would that stand? Would that be a small one or would that be a big one? Medium, right. Very interesting. And yeah, so you've been here every year. This is the third annual. It's great to see it, like my age and even younger, like that. We're all used to these powered machines and that. I know. And when you were growing up, like, was it you didn't work with the contractors? So it was just when it came to your area, you dug in with the rest of the farmers. You would only been a young lad.
Very young.
Yeah. You would have been the ones that, as the song goes, playing hide and seek. Very good. Paddy, thanks very much for talking. It's great to see your machine. All the best. Thank you.
We just have to work with the tractors as they are.
As they're parked.
as they're
Yeah,
parked.
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Just across the street we have.
Bye bye now.
Cheerio, Tom, and thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Just Tom was walking by what was at the time of the TVO Ferguson. The Dexter was coming into vogue.
That was diesel, is it?
And it's a diesel tractor, and it was a really modern tractor.
Okay.
At that time.
Yeah, yeah.
And our next tractor that's parked up is a Zetter. They come on the scene early 70s, I think, maybe mid 70s, and they were a revolution in that they come standard with power steering, at what would be called in Ferguson terms a multi-power.
Okay.
And it comes standard. They also had a spool valve, a double-acting spool valve fitted into the tractor, which was like gold dust if you were, which I was a Ford enthusiast, a Ford maniac, I suppose you could call me at the time. A double-acting spool valve was gold dust. It also was power steering.
Right.
Q cabs, insulated Q cabs with heaters. Come standard on the Zetter.
Lads didn't know themselves when they got into it.
And they didn't know themselves.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they had a weakness in the brake department, but
the brakes are overrated anyway.
Well, for some of us. But they were a revolution as well in the brake department in that they come standard with air brakes.
All right, okay.
So it was a revolution at the time.
Yeah.
So it was. Now we come to Ford Jubilee tractor.
Right.
This now, I'm open to correction on this. It's recently acquired by Colin Coffey, and I think he gave a little bit of history on it in a previous programme. But we come across it on one of our tours in Jerry King. Jerry King is a very extensive select collection near RD in County Louth. And we were up there with Jerry, and we come across that, and very innocently it come up for sale, and I suggested to Colin Coffey, there's a yoke you should buy, Colin, and at the next meeting he had it bought.
And he did?
Yes.
Very and is that, you're talking diesel on this, are you?
No, petrol only. It's an American tractor, petrol only.
Oh, it's not TVO?
No,
right,
no,
okay.
no, absolutely. Petrol only, and what I noticed about that, even it's, I think it's 1953, this tractor, it has the hydraulic pump mounted on the engine, so it has live hydraulics.
Right, okay.
Now, that's unheard of in the Ferguson 20 or the Fords, and even I think the Fords and Dexter, you had to get the deluxe model to get live hydraulics.
And what advantage does that give?
Well, it means that when you were hooking up to something, if you were your foot on the clutch, the hydraulics work.
All right, I know what you mean, yeah.
So like the majors at the time.
Normally when you press the clutch, it knocks off your
everything stops by the engine.
I understand, yeah.
Again, Mr. Zetter had independent hydraulics and PTO, which was a major revolution.
That'd be a huge change, because if you came to the headland and needed to clutch to turn, whatever you have it knock
with
off.
your power steering, your hydraulics, your PTO, if you were harvesting with your PTO and your hydraulics for harvesting, they remained constant. Whereas with the Fords and the Fergusons at the time, once you put your foot on the clutch, the whole world stopped except the engine.
It might seem only a small thing, but it's a significant thing.
At the time we didn't know different, but when we moved to the point where we had the live drives, it was ultra modern. Here we have a Ferguson 20 diesel, a revolution in its own right, because it moved to diesel, which was far more economical. It used way less fuel, and the fuel was far cheaper to buy. And
you probably got further on a tank of it as well.
Oh, absolutely. And they built England and Ireland in providing food for decades, from I'd say the mid 40s, early 40s onwards to right into the 60s.
Would it be fair to say probably the most famous tractor ever?
Quite likely, yes. A brilliant little tractor, very reliable, very durable, go forever. They were only cast aside because the bigger ones come on the scene.
And what year would they have been from now?
I am not the biggest historian on them, but that model of a tractor, it's it came out of the Ford Jubilee. Like they're kind of the same chassis of a tractor. Like the TVO Ferguson looks identical to that, but it has this one has a diesel engine.
Now I wouldn't know a thing about it, but I actually, if I didn't see Ford on the side of that, I would have thought that was a 20.
Yeah, well, I think we were just moving out of the stage where Ford and Ferguson, moving on from the stage where Ford and Ferguson parted company.
I know what you mean.
And that would have been probably a flagship for Ford to promote his own brand in the separation that occurred between him and Ferguson.
I know what you mean.
So now the boys are experimenting with a 135.
We'll walk up to the lads here,
and again,
just for a second.
A major
135,
a 135. I remember seeing these come on the market, and we were living in the world of a Fords and Major at the time, and these were just a wonderful little item. They had more power, better lock, more hydraulic power than the Fords of the day, and a revolution, just a revolution. They were fast on the road, zippy. You turned them on a sixpence. A great little tractor, still a great little tractor, still a very valuable little tractor.
That's the job. Seamus, look at it. I think I'm getting a nod there from me director to finish up. Is that right, Brian? So, look, thanks very much for talking to us, Brian. We're going to go back inside now, so I'll chat to you in a few minutes. Thanks very much. No, I'm staying with you. Right?
Tony's finishing up now.
Alright, so before we finish up, we're going to get our chairman just to say a few words. And this is live television for you now, so I haven't a clue what's going on. Sean is filling me in, but Tony, tell me what's going on. You have the final word of the day. Let's go with that.
Well, we had a wonderful thrashing day. We were honoured by many people. The crowd that came, our own club, above all the footballers. We're so pleased. They brought honour to parish, club and county 25 years ago. And it's wonderful to see them here.
To the country.
And envy to the country. Wasn't all of our teeth watering when we saw them.
Absolutely.
And how good to see Tommy Dowd this year walking out in Croke Park with the cup 25 years on. Now, there's a very special lady, Anne-Marie Gary.
I'm going to stand this side.
And this beautiful floral arrangement has been done by her. Many times over the years we have called on her on different occasions to present something like this, and I can tell you, she never fails to impress.
Trumps. Yeah, she's a great woman. Thanks very much, Tony. And I think that concludes it from me as well. So look, thanks very much to the committee for asking me to do it. It's been a pleasure. Great committee to work with, and thanks to Brian behind the camera and the lads on sound. So thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed the day. Thank you.
This is a Tapari Classic Cattle Crush with deluxe side gates fitted with an optional offside drafting handle. This cattle crush is made in New Zealand from New Zealand steel and is fully hot dip galvanised after fabrication. It comes with a 10-year galvanising warranty and will handle cattle of any size with ease. The Classic Crush is an all-round cattle handler designed to provide safe and efficient working facilities for you and your cattle.